The trial against pro-independence leaders in jail is just around the corner and will likely influence Catalan and Spanish politics and the atmosphere in the streets. Hello and welcome to Catalan News. The Spanish government, led by Socialist Pedro Sánchez, is in power thanks to the votes of pro-independence parties, and they warned today that their support for the budget may well depend on his attitude towards jailed leaders. We'll get you the latest on this, and we'll also show you a public bus that has no driver. It's not to be missed. 9 pro-independence leaders in jail and 7 others in exile accused of rebellion and misuse of funds. And although Catalonia has managed to form a new government and is currently reopening offices abroad shut down during direct rule, the aftermath of last year's events, including the referendum and the Declaration of Independence, continues to influence politics in Parliament, both here in Catalonia and Madrid.
A year ago, Catalonia was entering one of the most turbulent periods in its recent history. The independence referendum, the police operations to stop it, and the independence declaration suspended by Spain. The consequences are still being felt in Catalan politics. With the Parliament due to meet again in the first week of October, the most pressing issue is what will happen to Catalan MPs accused of rebellion after Spanish courts ordered their suspension. In the last plenary session in July, the pro-independence parties were at odds over how to implement the ruling. Former President Carles Puigdemont and his party want him to keep his seat. Their main allies, led by former Vice President Oriol Junqueras, want the same principle to apply to all politicians. The pro-independence parties are now hurrying to reach a compromise, but their latest attempt, a meeting today in a jail where political leaders are being held, failed. Meanwhile, Puigdemont is convinced that he will remain an MP.
Que sera le Parlement qui doit décider ça. Donc je suis absolument convaincu que le Parlement catalan aura une protection de leurs membres.
The opposition leader, though, does not agree with the former president.
Hi ha una resolució judicial que diu clarament que s'ha de suspendre els diputats que han estat acusats per rebel·lió i, per tant, l'opinió del senyor Puigdemont no pot estar mai per sobre de la justícia.
The accusation of rebellion is the basis for expelling Catalan leaders from Parliament, but also the foundation for keeping some of them in jail. And to some, the Spanish government should intervene to ensure the charges are dropped.
Si usted, por ejemplo, no insta a la fiscal general del Estado a retirar la acusación de rebelión, ¿cómo será posible, por ejemplo, pactar los presupuestos? Casi es un imposible.
Spanish President Pedro Sánchez came to power thanks in part to the votes of pro-independence parties. With some opposition parties rejecting his political agenda and calling for a snap election, the pressure on him is now mounting.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since Spanish police launched the first major police operation aimed at disrupting the independence referendum. Guardia Civil police raided government buildings and arrested officials while thousands of people took to the streets as a response. 2 pro-independence activists, Jordi Sanchez and Jordi Cuixart, tried to manage and organise the crowds, creating corridors or asking people to go back home at night, but they were accused of sedition and jailed weeks later. They've not left prison since then. Cuixart's partner, Che Bonet, gave an exclusive interview to Catalan News to assess their situation. She expressed no hope about the outcome of the trial, expected to start in the next few months.
He's in pretrial detention because there's a kind of plan trying to criminalize the civil mobilization, the demonstrations that always took place in Catalonia. There's a lot of issues and things that has happened that demonstrate that this trial is not fair at all.
Moving on now, quite literally, we take a glimpse at the future, one that's already happening now, and for the first time in Catalonia. We take you to Terrassa, where my colleague Rachel Bathgate tells us about a unique new type of public transport.
It's common practice to say hello to the driver when boarding a bus all around the world, but what if there isn't one? Meet Erica, the first driverless bus in all of Catalonia, and she could be set to revolutionize transport in urban areas of the country. Erica is an acronym. It stands for Electric Revolutionary Intelligent Community, or compartit, shared in Catalan, and finally amicable. This is because while there are no drivers, there are no lost jobs either. those previously behind the wheel will be traveling with the passengers, acting as tour guides and helpers to those who need it. But just what are the benefits of a driverless bus? We spoke to an official just to be able to find out.
All the accidents, we estimate that 90% it's caused because of human error, and we are sure that the autonomous buses will eliminate the risk.
Erica uses 3 sensors to guide her down the street, avoiding any possible obstacles she might encounter on her journey. Fitted with a GPS system accurate down to 2 centimeters, the system uses cameras as guidance as well. And of course, there's always the option to switch to manual. The bus travels at 18 kilometers per hour, is eco-friendly and powered by lithium batteries, and can last up to 14 hours self-sufficiently. Cozier than most buses, it can fit 11 patrons. The bus is currently on a trip around Catalonia, in a roadshow visiting 8 cities for a week each. So, what do passengers have to say?
És una bona alternativa i que esperem que evolucioni i acabi sent un mitjà més, no? Un mitjà de transport més.
These are all test runs, in which Erica travels 500 meters at a time. But on roads without traffic, such as in a park like this, longer routes would be no problem, say officials. It might not be a fixture quite yet, as laws don't allow it, but experts estimate that could change as soon as 2020, in just 2 years. And while Erica is just a pilot stage, it's a nod to the future of technology, and there are laws that still need to catch up in Catalonia, but watch out, because Erica might be coming to a city near you soon.
The refugee crisis is far from over. On the contrary, European leaders are meeting in order to find a solution. Catalonia has long advocated for having more powers to deal with migration and refugees. Catalonia has a long tradition of welcoming people from abroad, like other Mediterranean countries. However, the number of unaccompanied minor migrants coming to Catalonia is growing so fast that social services are overwhelmed. Almost 1,000 children arrived alone only in July and August, in some cases victims of human trafficking. The Catalan government has said it's ready to welcome people and has urged for cohesion and cooperation to avoid any discriminatory situations. Let's talk culture now, because the figures of book sales from the Catalan Book Fair are in. The fair closes doors with a turnover of more than €500,000, 25% more than last year's edition. In fact, in the last 4 editions, the total turnover of the fair has doubled, according to the organisers. More than 28,000 people took part in the fair, with more than 265 events in the programme. Don't miss it next year. And to finish today's edition, let me remind you that Catalonia has not just got a very active literature sector, but also an exciting theatre scene as well. And the sector held its annual party. This is a summary of what happened there. Enjoy and see you tomorrow.
Si la gent vol que anem a casa seva, hi anirem. Senyors i senyores, nens i nenes, veniu al teatre!
Ni perquè no sopar, parem per un moment, parem el temps.
Que comenci la nova temporada de teatre!